Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And after 3+ years, I could finally say that the Mirage will start. So, we're going to dive in and see what all it took. Some of the hurdles we have left to jump. And pretty much what's left to do. So let's dive in, see what we got to do, and take it from there. This poor car. Well, time to get busy on it. It's been, 2 years, 3 years or so, or whatever. And only thing that needed to have happened to this car is the wiring of the new ECU. So let me show you guys exactly what was done. And this car needs a wash. This is really bad. This is bad. Yep, even on the inside. Bad. All right, so this video is going to be a little boring due to the fact that we're talking wiring. So, yeah. All right, so let me put up the hood prop here and let's begin. So, I have a Fueltech FT450 and I have the universal 4-cylinder harness, which gives you all of your sensors, your 5-volt sensor power, and then your 12-volt and ground, at least for the 12-volt, you have to do yourself. It comes with the ground. I don't think it's substantial enough for, like, let's say, the coils or the crank sensor, cam sensor. So what I ended up doing was making a separate ground for the 12-volt stuff. And then the 5-volt stuff, I used the existing ground that the Fueltech provides, which has to go back to ground, which I still need to do. But let's go through some of the harness and see what's what. So first off, this one here is 12-volt and signal for the Fueltech. So these are the injectors, and then these are the power to the injectors. These harnesses I actually purchased red heat shrink with a white loom, and that's pretty much the theme of the wiring. It's supposed to be part of the viewing experience, but it ended up with a lot more viewing than I anticipated. Plus, in here it looks like a nightmare, but in general I'm hoping to clear this up. So this one with the black loom is the ground, so you can detach that and leave that with the engine. Then, just like I said, this one's the injectors. So then after that, I did the ground in 5-volt. That covers all of the sensors, all in one harness, as far as TPS, air temperature sensor, fuel pressure sensor, E85 sensor, which hopefully we won't have to use that, but it's there just in case we do. So that's those two. Then I have right here the nano wideband, which works great. Then I have this guy for all of the ignition power. So we're talking cam sensor. This is both coils, which is actually coil on plug, K-series coils, smart coils. These are for the power to those. And then this is the power to the crank. So that's that. So we have these 3 plugs. That's taking that duty. Then last plug is this plug, which is a 3 wire, and this one is ground for all of the sensors, 1 being the crank, 2 being the coils, 3 being, or actually no, that's 2 here, 1 there, you get it. And for fuel tech, it has to be connected directly to the negative post of the battery. This is connected directly to the negative post of the battery. And it's also grounded to where it's sitting also. And the reason they have you do this is because they want a clean signal with no noise interference. So for instance, if you have your coils connected to your chassis, you'll get some noise interference and then the signal won't be clean and it'll cause issues. So to avoid that, negative side of the battery. So anyway, there's a wire coming from the trunk right here to the battery, and that's from the negative side of the battery. This one is for the battery relocation kit. Everything that was on the positive side of the terminal, this one kind of got messed up. I will fix that later. Positive side of the terminal now goes to this piece right here, including our 3 relays. These are fuel tech relays, okay? They actually light up when they're operating, which is really nice. And I wanted to kind of incorporate that with the show when you look in the engine bay. Now, of course, I'm gonna organize these 3 plugs so they're nice and neat. I have some of the original harness, and the reason I have some of the original harness is because some of the original harness controls the fuel pump, so that's connected. Some of the original harness controls the RPM gauge, so that's connected. Some of the original harness controls the starter, the fans, which is this guy right down here, and the temperature sensor inside the car, which is this guy right here. You know, stuff of that nature. You know, you don't want to reinvent the wheel when it comes to that stuff and have to run wires from here to there. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted the car to appear normal. You know, when you open the doors and get in there and you turn it on and drive it. And then when it's time to get busy, you can pop open the fuel tech area and watch your car real time. So you have both gauges going live. A little bit of an effect, but I'm gonna show you that in a second. So now that the wiring and stuff is, I wanna say 85% complete, the car will start. Now, the car did start. The first start was covered in video and posted everywhere, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, Legion Elite. And it was glorious. I did not think the car was gonna run that easy because when I first started it, all I did was twist wires together to make sure that, you know, everything's calibrated. I'm able to start the car. And then after that, I took it all apart and redid it. So, yep, that's what we did. And then we came up with this solution here. So it went from twisted wires to nice sleeves, but I'm gonna organize that. I'm gonna fix this area here, and I'm gonna straighten up some area behind the valve cover. But that aside, there's a couple of wires I did not connect, and that is for the boost control, anti-lag switch, which we're gonna be hooking that up to a button. And then I have two sensors. The fuel pump is not gonna stay the fuel pump, but it does say what output it's on, so that's good. I could switch that to whatever. And I have another output that I could use for anything, which is good. I didn't want to utilize all of my outputs to where I don't have any. So if I wanted to do speed sensor, if I wanted to do traction control, if I wanted to do boost by gear, if I wanted to do 2-step, I got some options. They're open. So, but I do want to do the electronic boost controller because currently it's connected straight. Vacuum lines here. Boost reference is off the face of the turbo. Simple enough. Speaking of boost control, my MAC valve, I had it sitting right here because I was thinking about leaving it there. But reconsidering that, I'm thinking about mounting it somewhere here in the radiator area, or possibly just over here in this mayhem, which I think there's plenty enough wires to add more. I didn't really want to do that, so that's still up for debate. So I have that sitting right here for now. And then, of course, I'm gonna connect these wires accordingly depending on where I want to put them. So there's more wrapping to do in general. There's more wire cleanup to do, as you can see right here, because that's mixed in with the original harness, and the original harness never looks good. So, you know, is what it is, kind of, so to speak. But yeah, so there's that. This is the engine bay currently, okay? And let's look at the inside. Okay, so this is the business side of things. So let me hop in here and give you guys a little tour. Okay, so this is the original gauges. Well, I guess not original, but the gauges I got for this car specifically, which is the white-faced manual gauges. So this has no park neutral drive and all of that other stuff on it. This car used to be automatic, and it was converted by yours truly, of course, a bajillion episodes ago. And then this is the interior. I do want to get some fresh new carpet because this one's kind of done, so to speak. And then these are the radiator mounts. I'm not going to put in the radiator mount. I'm going to tell you guys why in a bit. But yeah, so this is the interior. I still have to do, you know, door cards and all of that other good stuff. So there's a lot more to come in general, but a basic living space. Nice, comfortable, to the point. And it'll work. So just like I was saying, all of the gauges work except the RPM gauge. Okay. Now, of course, the computer that's running the program has the RPM gauge there, but I want it to be all original. Now, when it comes down to business and I need to adjust or whatever, all I do is hit that guy and we're ready to party. Okay, it stays up by itself. It doesn't close and do all that extra stuff. You know, it's perfect, you know. So this is pretty much the layout in business mode. So this close is your casual mode. And then, of course, you pop that open, business. So anyway, so with that being said, there is a couple of wires I need to find. This car is a 2001 Mirage ES. So it has a completely different ECU. Normal, the ECU is over there under the cover. Has 4 plugs, right? Not this car. This car, they put the ECU underneath the radio, and it has 3 plugs. 3 plugs because for a 2001, the automatic transmission and ECU is all in one computer. 1998, 1999, there were 2 computers for that operation. So what I need to find now, in general, is 2 wires, okay? One for the ignition switch. When you put it in the start position, or excuse me, the on position, you have power. And then when you hit start, you still have continuous power. That one I have to find. The second wire, from what I read and what I chat GPT'd, the information from the engine goes to the computer and then it spits out an RPM signal. So it takes multiple signals, which will be cam and crank, and then it produces an RPM signal to the gauge. I need to find out what wire comes out to the gauge so I can connect the fuel tech to it to give me RPM signal. So that's 2 wires I need to find. Ignition, and this is another thing. I don't want to go tear this apart to get a wire and then have to backtrack the wire from the engine bay back into the car. I want to find the ignition switch wire in the engine bay. So RPM and engine bay, right? So after that part is done, there are 2 things I need to complete on this car before it can touch the ground. Right now it's on wheel dollies. I need to put the dump tube for the wastegate. That's the reason why I don't have the radiator mounted solid, because I need to do the wastegate dump tube. So let's go take a look. So as you can see, the wastegate is right here, tucked up tight and neatly, but there is no tube coming out from the face of this turbo, or excuse me, the wastegate. So what's going to happen is everything in front of it is going to catch fire as soon as you full throttle. We're talking a C line, which is aluminum, it should be fine, but the wires behind it will not be fine. So if we take a closer look, let me see if I can get it up in there. Oh, that's as far as we can go. Let me see. Yeah, hard to get down there with the radiator, but the face of the turbo, or excuse me, the wastegate is right here. So I have to find an exit to have the dump tube come out. Now at the bottom, there's not much room. So the intercooler pipe is right there. The radiator is in front of it, so there's not much room. I was thinking about coming through this area right here, but this is not enough room. So basically I'm gonna chase that dilemma as soon as I finish up the wiring and see where I could squeeze it out. I'm gonna look from the bottom, look from the top, see what I could fabricate to get out of there. But yeah, I'm thinking it'll be somewhere close to the AC compressor. I would like to get it to come down sooner, maybe near the exhaust or something, but I don't think there's enough room. So that's the issue with the wastegate that we're gonna solve. Then next is the exhaust. The exhaust is done from the turbo underneath the engine and then stops at the firewall. So we have to finish the exhaust, then that's it. We're going to start the car. Look at that. So this is how you know your relays are working. They actually glow. So there's no question, and there's a built-in fuse. Can't top that. There we go. Ready to fire up from the inside. All right, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I actually got this catch can for this car. Going to be mounted in that position. We'll figure out the bracketry and everything from there, but it's going to come from this guy right here, going in there. Perfect, perfect. And yeah, but here she is, running in all her glory. And with that being said, we're going to call it an episode right there. I hope you guys found this episode interesting in some way, shape, or form. Still have a good amount to do. More wires to connect, things of that nature. Also, we're going to be jumping into exhaust, wastegate stuff next episode, so definitely prepare for that. And remember, guys, knowledge is power, and I will see you next time.